The Gray family was a little tired of the neighbors throwing shade and assuming they had no values, so they decided it was time to pack up and head off for a trip across country. They may be rolling by your neck of the woods on their cross-country adventure. Joining them on this excursion are some new traveling companions, Aunt White, aka Whipped Cream, and their two cousins from the other side of the family, Flo and Matt, who love to mix things up a bit. Here's a little bit about the new characters. Aunt White used to be a Vegas showgirl, which is where she got the name Whipped Cream. She has beautiful white, milky skin. She came along this journey because occasionally white is the best choice. Well, let's just be honest. She thinks white is always the best option. She has a little bit of a superiority complex because Melanie introduced her first, and now she thinks she's the best choice over any of the Grays. It's definitely not true, but Mel didn't want to crush her self-confidence and make her feel left out either. There will never be a dull moment with this motley crew of travel companions unless you add a few drops of Cousin Matt to the jar. He can take the shine out of any occasion. He's good for when they want to just keep things mellow. If you let Matt join in, be sure to use one of the included clear labels to mark the top of the jars he's been added to, so you'll know that he's been included. He can mix it up with the Grays, but they can definitely only handle him in small doses. Too much of Matt can affect how they perform, so they don't want him hanging out with them in mass amounts. Unfortunately, Matt and Aunt White don't mesh well together. You can mix them together on a palette, but they don't seem to play well together in the jar. Too much of a dull thing, maybe. Now, Cousin Flo, on the other hand, I think he only came along to be around Aunt White. If she starts getting super sassy, like on a wild and crazy night when she starts acting thick, 1 or 2 drops of his magic solution, and Whipped Cream is smooth as silk again. To be quite honest, you don't want to see any of the perfect paints with their tops off. Keep those lids on tight, okay? The Grays will be rolling by a town near you, but keep in mind they are handmade, along with all these labels, the swatches. And Mr. Dark Gray drives as slow as molasses on a cold winter day and takes in all the scenery. Miss Medium Gray is like my mama, God rest her soul, and wants to stop at every antique store at every mile marker from the Atlantic to the Pacific. So be patient while they make their way to you. I promise it'll be worth the wait. So let's talk about how to use this kit when you have transparent, translucent, or streaky paints in your paint by number kit. Typically, we would have to paint multiple layers of the transparent, the translucent, or the streaky paint on our paint by number in order to get full coverage. But when we use one of my shades of gray or a white first in that cell, you can avoid having to put down multiple layers. I'm using my 3 shades of gray swatch guide to demonstrate. On the left of this swatch guide, you'll notice I've used 4 colors: a transparent yellow, a transparent creamy white, a transparent orange, and a streaky blue. On the right side of my swatch guide, I'd already primed with a light gray, my white, a medium gray, and a dark gray, and I've allowed them to dry completely. For this orange right here, I'm going ahead and I'm also going to test with a light gray base because that orange has anywhere between a light and a medium value. I'm going to test it over a light gray prime and a medium gray primer. So now when I go back and I paint with our original paint color over the top of these gray or white primed areas, I'm going to get full coverage with that original paint color. You can see that each of these has the perfect coverage. They all have perfect opacity with 1 layer of gray or white as a base. You can't see the paint pot under any of the ones that have the primer underneath, and the blue is no longer streaky. And that is why the 3 shades of gray have become a game changer for paint by number enthusiasts. Thanks as always for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment below and let me know what you think of the new 3 Shades of Grey Road Trip collection.